Good morning. This is Ask Marie before you again to talk to you about Marriage at First Sight, episode 7 of season 10. Okay, we got Zach and Mindy, Derek and Katy, Brandon and Taylor, Michael and Mika, and Jessica and Austin. Now, Zach, it seems as though Zach, his behavior says that it's all about him. So when he's ready to change his attitude and try to develop some feelings for Mindy, then the wedding can move. Then the marriage can move forward. I'm trying to figure that out because Mindy is getting tired of his behavior, and the attraction that she initially had for him is diminishing. How long will she hang in there and deal with him? Now they have all the couples have moved, have left Panama, and now they've moved moved into their new location as husband and wife. They're married couples now. Zach has refused to move in with Mindy. He says it's just not healthy. Imagine that. Let me see. It's not healthy in his eyes. It's not healthy for newlyweds such as he and Mindy to live together. Does that make a lot of sense to you? So he went on home to his house, his apartment, and slept with his dogs versus sleeping with his wife. Now, I'm beginning to just looking at him. He looks like he's got a lot of fear in his eyes. Is he afraid of the possibility of falling in love and being out of control? So he feels or acts like he feels like he doesn't want to be out of control. He wants control in his life. And should he fall in love, there's a certain amount of control he may not have because he's going to give in to whatever she wants if he loves her. He might even become her friend and protect her. Like I said, Mindy is starting to lose attraction for him. Will they survive? How much more can they do? She's living in that apartment by herself. She's making a lot of sacrifices, but now she's an intelligent woman. She sees that it's going to take some time, and she's willing to give him that space and that time. But for how long? I hope he doesn't lose her because she's a pretty good thing for him. Then there's Derek and Katy. Katy wants time for herself. She says she was upset when they were on the honeymoon and she wanted to take a shower and he got in the shower with her. Well, he sees that as romantic because this man, Derek, has never been in love before. I don't know if he's ever lived with a woman before, but he says he's never been in love before. In talking to the Rev, the two of them talking to the Rev, he finds out that Katy still has feelings for her ex because she did fall in love with him some time ago. She knows she has to let that go, but she does admit that she still has feelings. Some people, you can't let them know how you feel or what's going on in your heart and your mind, because it might hinder them. Look at Mike. He let Mika know that he wanted sex before the honeymoon was over. That's a secret he should have kept to himself. And look at the mess he made. But Katy is a very intelligent, mature young lady. She's not pushy or bossy or anything. When they go to his house to get his things, she asks consent to open the drawer, or what do you think about this? And she drew him in. So they're not in love yet, but they are respecting each other. Oh boy, there's Brandon. Brandon has now taken his ring off because what Brandon does, he has some very, very poor behavior. I'm not sure if this is a result of his anxiety attacks or what, but he knew that they would have a camera following him before he signed on. Now all of a sudden he's had all he can take. And I'm thinking myself that if they had given him that 10 minutes that he asked for of privacy, things might have been different. And the behavior that he displayed made Taylor say, well, that's not the kind of man that I would want to be married to. I prefer the sweet side of him. Well, he took only the part where she says, that's not the kind of man that I want to be married to excuse his behavior. So once again, he, just like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Gethsemane, he's blaming his wife for his behavior. Now, he uses what she said. He takes out of context what she says to support his behavior. That's not fair. You know, now she's back in D.C., in her apartment, in their apartment that's been assigned to them, but he's not there. He's AWOL. He got on the bus using all kind of profanity, addressing it to her, because he's acting like he's angry with her because of something she said. Well, she just told the truth, because, I mean, she has feelings too, and she's always said she does not like to be disrespected. Now, on this note, this is the second time she's forgiving his behavior, or trying to forgive his behavior, because he embarrassed her on that bus. You know, I don't know how she took it, but she did. And he shows up maybe day 2, 3 at the apartment with flowers. And these flowers are supposed to make her melt and make the difference in their relationship. Because like I said in the last video, he always had something in his eyes, a fearful look in his eyes, that he was afraid she would find out who he was, because initially they said he didn't do a lot of socializing, and it's because of his social behavior. I don't know what can or will be done about that, but it's interfering with his relationship with Taylor. Now, Michael and Meka, they are communicating. And do they have a vibe? I think so, because their communication is open. Even so, they talked a while. He asked could he come back to the suite. She said yes. But when they got in the bed, she told him to put his robe on, and then she was sleeping in her robe. Oh, well, just because you came by and said a few nice things doesn't mean that you're going to have sex with me tonight. Not only did she do that, she put a pillow in between them as a divider. Now, Michael seems to be hurting about something inside of him, and it may stem from his childhood, because he is considered a foster child. His sister raised him. His mom passed away, I believe. She was sick, and before she died, she assigned him to his sister, his older sister. Now, Mika needs to slow her roll. She's nervous, I can see, but she's being very picky about things. They go back to his apartment, and she's saying, oh, you don't do this? Oh, how do you survive doing that? He's doing things, and has been doing things, his way, because he was living alone. He realizes that he's got to make some changes in order to blend with her, but she's very, very picky. He does not want to present himself, I know, to his family as a failure in his first marriage, or in his marriage. He's the first one in the family to get married, and he followed through on that, but he doesn't want to come home from the honeymoon and say, I failed. That's embarrassing. Now, as far as love between the two of them, I see that coming in the future. But Mika, needs to calm down and relax and pay attention to what this man is saying to her. He is apparently paying attention to what she's saying to him, and he's trying to make things right. Then there's Jessica and Austin. Now, they're comfortable with each other, but for how long? She goes to the apartment, and she's making decisions as to what he takes and what he doesn't take. But that's being a little picky. But he's surviving, but he's got a strong backbone, because he says this is not going, and this is not going, and this is going. So I think they'll survive, because she's willing to blend with him. He's willing to blend with her. But back to Zach. Is he afraid of the real Zach coming out? When if it does, will it mean that I'm beginning to wonder if fear is behind his behavior. The fear of he's seen somebody he could probably fall in love with, but he doesn't want to lose self-control or control of his emotions. So is it fear that's behind Zach's behavior? Will the real Zach stand up? God bless. Please leave your comments and do subscribe.